Hey there, YouTubers. All right, so a bit of an update video. This is the Go Plus that you've seen on the channel. Obviously, this is more of a gaming channel, tech channel, but we do lift a lot of weights on here as well. So, thoughts on this. Here it is, 3 years later, 2019, I bought this. It is still holding up. A lot of the concern I had was how thin the metal is in here, and you can see, that's gotta be in the 1/16 to 1/8 range. I'm not sure what gauge that is. Obviously we've got powder coat paint on it, so slightly thicker due to that, but it is pretty thin. Commercial grade bench like this guy over here, this is at least double the thickness in that wall. Very strong, right? Got over here, Cybex bench, same deal. Very thick metal. But that's what you get with commercial grade, right? That stuff's going to last 15, 25 years. Who knows? I've got this bench here as well. It's got the thin metal. This was super cheap. I think I got that for 50 bucks. All right, back to the power rack. So you may have seen in the video, we did a lot of different workouts with this thing, or talked about the different stuff you can do. What have we used it for? Well, we've done pull-ups with it. Right now it's set up in a military bench configuration, military press bench configuration, that is. You can either use these guys up here, and this is a safety, or my personal favorite thing to do is to just set this thing up right at the, right about the height where I would drop down for my press, and I lift it off of here, okay? So I find this actually easier than the Olympic grade benches that you'll see at the gym. Now, what does that do though? A lot more wear and tear. Of course, you get that wear and tear if you're doing shrugs inside here as well without using those. Things that I don't like, folks. Let's actually, we took the other one off. So I have noticed if you really have to come down heavy with your weight on this bar, this thing will have a tendency, let me get these out of the way. This thing will have a tendency to actually move, okay? And it'll slide. So I can even slide this with that barbell on there. How did I alleviate that? Well, I don't know how many pounds these guys are, but I put them right on there, and boom, problem solved. Now, I talked about drilling a hole in the back to put a cotter pin on there. Did not ever do that. We, I don't know if we got lazy, but we just found using these things easier. So, what have I done workout-wise? Well, you can squat in here. You can do shoulder shrugs. Obviously, I just talked about military press. You can do bench press. You can do incline press. If you have a bench that obviously inclines. This one even goes a little bit negative, so you can do declines in here. You can do bent over rows. You could obviously do it off the floor with a 7-foot bar, but you can do standing barbell curls with it, right? Now, weight-wise, all kinds of things you can do with weights. You could also hook up bands to it, figure out a way to do flies. I figured out ways to work my neck with the bands using this thing. It has been absolutely amazing for the price of this. It was somewhere around $200 if I remember correctly. It's held up. It's been moved from one spot to another in here. The bolts are nice and solid. Now I will say, yeah, is this thing really that great as far as shaking? No, probably not gonna easily shake the massive power rack at the gym, right? Where this thing's a little flimsy. How much weight have I had on here? We've had 400 pounds on here using the bench sling. You guys may have seen that video. It is held up. Did I feel really safe? Not necessarily, but it did get the job done. Didn't get injured. Now, of course, I didn't use this crappy bench. I went and used that guy over there when I did it. Back in the old days, I might have tried doing shrugs on here really heavy, right? But now, as I'm older, that's not such a good idea for me. Where my concern would be if you were doing shrugs on the outside is, like I had said, there's nothing to counter that on the other side, nowhere to put plates on there at the bottom. You will note that if you have weights in the wrong spot, trying to do pull-ups on here can pull this thing forward. All right. I was up to 278 pounds. Now I'm back down to 249. But there were those issues with this. But, beyond that, there are things you could do. Obviously, you could just throw 45-pound plates, have them resting on the back, and probably potentially resolve that. There may be, things that you could do as far as, drilling something in there to hold that down. Obviously, you could punch holes into the concrete. What is that thing called? I have a device that'll fire a bolt into the concrete. You could not necessarily permanently put it in there, but use those anchor bolts to drop this thing in. That would also resolve those kind of issues. What don't I like about this, folks? Well, I personally would get one that's a little deeper. All right, that aspect in here kind of sucks. Another foot deeper would be nice. It's kind of narrow. Some of you might not like that for squatting purposes. Height-wise, I think I have about another foot above this that I could have gone bigger. Of course, trying to do pull-ups in that situation would not be so good. Trying to do military press inside of the cage, standing military press does not work for me. But that would be another reason maybe it'd be nice to have a little more height. Of course, obviously, military press on the outside, using that setup, and then maybe having the safety bar in case you can't get it back up into position or whatever may happen. Obviously safer to do it on the inside if you can. Seated, probably even safer bet there. Some people like to do it standing. Now, what else, folks? Thing that would have been nice if it came with it was, some kind of marking on these things. Obviously, you could use one of those markers, a white marker, and mark this thing. I find, hey, this is my military press setup. It'd be nice if I knew what number that was as far as the holes go without having to count. I'm not sure you can find that on most of the commercial gym equipment, but it makes it a little easier. Same thing back here, knowing which number. Then come down, set up for the bench press. What number, does this thing need to be on, as well as that, right? So I talked about this guy. This guy here, I'm not a big fan of this setup either. Sometimes just getting the bar over this thing or not hitting that is kind of a pain. Same issue here where, potentially this thing could pop out. So using those clamps on that from the backside is also a very good idea. But there you go, folks. There's my 3-year review. I'm still very happy with this. Yeah, it would be nice to have an awesome commercial grade one, but hey, who can spend $1,000 some or more to get that? This has got the job done 3 years in. And as I'm getting older and the weights are not going to be as impressive for me to do, I would assume that this thing is going to hold up for, the next 5, 10, who knows how many years till I stop lifting weights. Thanks for checking out the video. Please like, please subscribe. Thank you.